access to technology is a privilege, for sure. I've benefited from, yep. But some of the best programmers I know didn't have access to a computer until much later in life. Yeah, I mean, I'm very privileged. Don't get me wrong. I'm totally privileged. One of the things when I talk about privilege, like white privilege or male privilege, is I start with me. I never say, you people are privileged. I'm privileged. And let's look at all the way I am privileged and all the ways I've benefited from that privilege. Now, I would say, I don't want to get too off a track of this other stuff, but just for like 1 second, I would say, and I'm saying it, that privilege, there is, what am I trying to say? Privilege is not inherently bad. Privilege is not inherently bad. It's a thing that exists. And it exists in situations. It exists in social systems. Depending upon the situation or the social system, that privilege can take on different forms. Wealth, status, job, hierarchy, your job where you work, gender, sexual orientation, age, race, ethnicity, religion, Different things can make you privileged in different situations. Just depends on the situation. Now, in a systemic way, from a social system, it's relatively predictable what is going to be privileged, because what's going to be privileged is based on the traditional levers of power in that system. So in the United States, white, male, Protestant, wealth, bam, 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 all privileged, right? Doesn't mean everybody who's white and male and Protestant is successful. It does mean you have fewer obstacles. Not no obstacles, fewer obstacles than those who are not privileged. Fair. That's a non-judgmental statement. I'm not casting any aspersions or making any accusations or leveling any judgments of worth or value. Just fact, right? Once you realize you have privilege, what do you do with that? That's the question. Do you work to lessen your own privilege to make it more equitable for others who don't have that same access to privilege? Do you decide that this is really bad? I feel horrible about it. I am not going to do anything about it, though. Right? I feel bad. This is horrible. It sucks. Whatever. But it's beyond my power. It's beyond my ability. I'm too busy. Maybe I'll do some stuff like give to causes or vote or whatever to deal with that. But I'm not really going to do anything to remove it. Right? But I don't like it. Now, one can question whether or not you really don't like it because you're still benefiting from it. And even if you do some small stuff to disrupt it, are you dismantling it? That's a larger conversation. 3, you might be like, yeah, well, let's just say 3, you refuse to acknowledge it. No, I don't have privilege. I'm not privileged at all. You ignore it, right? If I ignore it, it doesn't exist. It's not there. I don't have to do anything about it. Maybe you ignore it. Doesn't exist. I would say 4, I know it's there, I know I benefit from it, and I want to keep it. And I'm going to work for its preservation for as long as possible. Now, that's a choice. Those 4 things are choices. I acknowledge it and am working to dismantle it. I acknowledge it, and maybe I'm just trying to disrupt it. I refuse to acknowledge it and ignore it, which is perpetuating it. Or I acknowledge it, but I will not do anything to dismantle, disrupt. I want to preserve it. And that's a choice people have to make. And what choice you make is purely up to you.